A very good morning to all our Sports Today family members. And day three is in the World Test, ICC World Test Championship final is upon us. Day three is generally considered to be the moving day of any test match. You know at this point in time where the test match is probably heading. But even before day three has to begin, the odds are very heavily stacked against India because 469 Australia have made. India are 151 for 5. The top order unfortunately crumbled yet again. Rohit Sharma was trapped LBW. Shubman Gill fell for a low score. He left a delivery. He left a delivery that jacked back in. Cheteshwar Pujara suffered misjudgment. Virat Kohli got a brute of a delivery. Jadeja, on the other hand, he and Ajinkya Rahane tried to steady the innings. Rahane got some good fortune along the way. But when Jadeja fell towards the fag end, Australia held the decisive advantage. 151 for 5, 318 runs still in arrears. And you wonder now, how is Team India going to come back from this situation? Remember, Rahane is still there along with Bharat and Shardul Thakur. But apart from that, there is hardly any batting left in this Indian cricket team. Will Australia enforce the follow-on? Maybe not, because they would want to preserve their bowlers ahead of a packed summer ahead. You are hoping for rain on day 4 and day 5. Maybe it might happen. Maybe it could just ensure that you can expect rain to play spoilsport in a bit of a way. But the problem now begins here. Virat Kohli's dismissal. It was a brilliant delivery from Mitchell Starc. It was a springboard-like bounce of a good length. Kohli was committed on the front foot. He got hit on the bat and it popped up to slip. What can you do in that kind of a dismissal? Well, Sunil Gavaskar, the former India captain, has had his say on this. He said that it was an error of judgment from Virat Kohli. Why did he say that? The error of judgment came because he was already committed on the front foot. Now, on a wicket that is offering up and down bounce, you cannot be committed on the front foot on every single basis. So, Virat, because of that trigger movement and because of the fact that he wanted to commit himself on the front foot and attack, that is the reason why you get one brute of a delivery. And you unfortunately hole out to the slip. Nothing can be done about that. However, after his dismissal, Virat Kohli, the camera spanned to Virat Kohli where he was eating in the dressing room and he was very calm about it and he was not showing too much of, you may say, frustration or any other. He was calm, he was eating. But the moment that photo was taken, the moment that video was circulated, pandemonium broke out on social media. There was criticism as to why Virat Kohli is being so calm, why is he behaving as if nothing serious has happened. What do you expect Virat Kohli to do? Not eat? Continuously be morose about the fact that the Indian cricket team is in a dire position? You do expect that he can continue living normally, right? Why is there so much pandemonium on social media when he's eating? When he's eating and when he's not showing any kind of moroseness or any kind of thing, why is it expected from players that they have to be morose every single time? People, when they see a dismissal and they see a match, they move on in life, isn't it? They have to understand that they are humans first, players later, machines they are not. Virat Kohli, the photo that has gone on social media where, oh, see how he's eating. If it was some other player, then the criticism would have been there. This is the problem. Toxic fan bases all over the world and all over the globe, when it comes to certain players, they give the player more harm and reputation than the player themselves. So, this is a really, really screwed up and you may say a very, very warped way of thinking from the social media fan bases that are there. Because remember, a player got out because of a brilliant delivery. What can he do about it? Yes, it was an error of judgment, but cricket is an error of judgment after all. You have to understand one thing here. Many players get some great deliveries and you have to move on. There is no way that you can keep on thinking about the past, oh, I could have done something different, I could have done something else. it is this toxic mentality that is there in fan bases that ensures that a player cannot be happy. Virat Kohli is a classic case of that. His toxic fan bases ensure that he gets more harm than he does to himself. So, the photo that is going around on Virat Kohli eating after his dismissal, and he's looking calm about it, that is now perceived as a major problem. Why? Why is it a major problem? So, it's a big issue that the Indian fan bases have to really grow up on, because at this point in time, the toxic fan bases are more harmful than even a defeat. So, Virat Kohli, he tried, he hit 2 glorious boundaries, 14 runs, but unfortunately he got a judgment. He suffered a lapse of judgment. In the words of Sunil Gavaskar himself, he told it on Sports Today also, that it was a lapse in judgment. It can happen to the best. So that is why this entire fiasco has just been created to ensure that many people get their moment in the sun. You cannot criticize Virat Kohli just because of the fact he's eating after his dismissal. What can you do about it? He's out, move on, try to save the test match, which is what India will be now really hoping for with the help of some elements. Because remember, today is day 3. If India get bowled out and Australia manage to get a 250-run lead, will they enforce the follow-on? Maybe, maybe not. It will be a surprise if Australia enforce the follow-on, because remember, day 4 and day 5, you're going to see a bit of rain. Now, looking at those conditions ahead, but we don't know whether the rain is going to be throughout the day or not, do Australia enforce the follow-on? Maybe, ideally, if you have to say, if that happens, maybe then they won't give their bowlers that much of recovery time. And at this point, if you look at it, it's going to be really tough for Australia to bowl India out twice on this wicket if you enforce the follow-on. Maybe if India can get if the damage is, say, only 220 or 230 runs, if India are trailing by that margin, then Australia will not enforce the follow-on. They'll bat on. Day 4, they'll bat on for one or 1.5 sessions, and then they will give India 5 sessions to be bowled out. 4 or 5 sessions. That is the way we are looking at it at this point. But remember, day 4 and day 5, there is rain. Now remember, Ajinkya Rahane also holds the key today. In the last session yesterday, he was somehow he got a reply. He got a reprieve when Pat Cummins overstepped. It is very rare for Pat Cummins to be so indisciplined. Yesterday, he bowled 4 no balls. But Rahane got a reprieve and he's on 29 or 71. He is really the key now. KS Bharat and Shardul Thakur are the remaining batters that are there. But apart from that, if you look at it, the pitch is already giving you turn as well. So Nathan Lyon is going to come into play much more from day 3 onwards. Scott Boland was impressive, so was Pat Cummins and Cameron Green to a certain extent, because Green kept one end up. And what was the problem? What was the problem with the Indian bowling? Siraj was delivering wickets. He was trying for wickets every single time. The other bowlers just did not step up. Umesh Yadav was expensive. That is the main problem. There was no pressure built on the other end. So, if you look at how the situation is right now, 318, India will first be hoping that they get 119 runs more, because then they can avoid the follow-on. That is the first target. Can KS Bharat, can Shardul Thakur help Ajinkya Rahane in this? They can, they have the potential. But remember, Australia's bowlers will be fresh. They will be wanting to bowl to a plan at this point in time. And Boland, remember, he will be the key on this up and down wicket. More so than Pat Cummins, more so than Mitchell Starc, more so than Cameron Green, it is Scott Boland and Nathan Lyon. These two bowlers are going to be the key for Australia on day 3. So, all this criticism that is there, when a player gets out, he cannot live a normal life. It is a warped way of thinking. And I'm very sorry to say that the Indian toxic fan bases that are there, they are causing more harm to Indian cricket than anybody else can. Because let a player live. He is out there on the field playing. The toxic fan bases aren't there at the ground who are playing. They are not facing deliveries which are in excess of 90 miles per hour. They are safely behind the keyboard and trying to influence public opinion. So the toxic fan bases, be it for any player or be it for the team, they are the biggest enemies, not anybody else. So that is the situation when it comes to the Indian cricket team in the ICC World Test Championship final. It's far from ideal, but you are praying for a miracle on day 3, day 4 and day 5. Already the test match is in Australia's grasp. So it is a really, really fantastic situation, Australia, and congratulations to them for being in such a good position at this point. Now, let us focus on other sports now. And West Ham in the Europa Conference League, they have managed to win a title after 58 years. Unfortunately for other sports, if you look at it, India were dumped out in the Singapore Open. The Indian presence in the Singapore Open badminton tournament ended. However, if you look at hockey, this is the biggest news that we have. Hockey, India are on top in the FIH Pro League after beating Argentina 3-0. Now, why this is significant? Because when you look at the Indian team, they have had a rather up and down campaign, but they have had the best FIH Pro League campaign in a very long time. So, their next 2 games are very, very important. It's very important for 2 reasons. One, they are facing the Netherlands, the only other team that can potentially make them slip up in the FIH Pro League. And their last game is also against Argentina. England, Great Britain in particular, are snapping at their heels. If India loses 1 game out of the 2, then their chances of a top finish in the Pro League are all but over. Because Great Britain, Netherlands, Belgium, they are the other teams who can catch up and ensure that they overhaul India. So, at this moment, India are on top in the FIH Pro League, which is a massive achievement. In the past, they have often been at number 2 and number 3, with Belgium and Netherlands dominating. But now, India are on top. So, that is why we are building up to what can be a spectacular finish in hockey. India can potentially create history at this point. We are also building up to the UEFA Champions League final also. Remember, on Saturday, Manchester City will be aiming to do the treble. They will be hoping that they can beat Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League and ensure they become the second club after Manchester United in 1999 to win the treble. The FA Cup, Premier League, UEFA Champions League. That is the way we are looking at it. So, it's a very interesting scenario when it comes to other sports. India hockey in particular, the next 2 days, 10th and 11th, are very, very important. So, it's going to be a very, very interesting time for Indian hockey. For Indian cricket also, 9th, 10th and 11th are judgment days for them. If Rahane can hang in and score a century or anything, if he gets support from the tail, then India's damage can be limited. But remember, India have only themselves to blame for being... Yep, sorry for that. We just had some issues when it comes to the internet. So, India versus Australia, we are building up to it for third day. India 318 runs behind. Rahane holds the key here. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.